Georgia over here, man, who are the other two people in class? See, Alex, Giorgio, one more. Alex said he couldn't be here today.
Austin? No, not Austin, that's Austin. Skinny guy that wasn't in here last semester. Dark hair. Kevin.
Okay, Kevin.
Skinny guy wasn't in here last semester, that's
Kevin,
Austin.
hey.
It's him eventually.
Okay, how can you get confused? Okay, we need to start class and clear some things up. Of course, these people are not happy. They do call back. Of course, the one Olivia had, we got to get her West Virginia tax back. Hopefully Sarah will be here tomorrow. She's good at West Virginia. I'll have to try to figure it out myself. And let's see, I gave Jessica one back, and that lady just wanted to know further than e-file. I e-filed most of them, but Jessica was in my office, and hers was not coming up for me to e-file. So she had to go back and just, where it's marked for review, uncheck that mark for review, and it will show it completed, and then I can e-file. So uncheck that mark for review. I've got about 16 left to e-file. I'm about to get those done today. Anyhow, we're going to work on it now. Now, I have another person here named Josh. He was a disabled veteran. Does that ring a bell with him? Y'all to do Josh? Okay, now I need a count who's going to be here tomorrow. 36 to 40, I believe. Savannah will be here. Robert, Tanda, Austin. Okay, 4 of you. Well, all 6 of you guys. And Jessica said she'll be here 7. And I know a couple of people that are just a VITA, not tax clients, should be here. Okay. Some of y'all did returns at home, and for others, and as long as we get them reviewed, we're okay with them. And make sure you check them that they have been reviewed, and it will show complete if you take that check mark off. All right. Today, I think I'll get you all a test Sunday, midterm, and it will be on depreciation and on credits. Now, we've not done chapter 14 just, we've been over some necessity. We've not looked at any problem, but we will, so please be working on the even problem. All right, today then, turn your book to chapter 10. We are going to get some appreciation in today. I think all of you have a textbook, we have an e-book. All right, so if you have the e-book, did you have to read in this semester?
Yes.
How much does it cost a semester?
I don't remember. To be completely honest.
Probably still better probably than buying it. Because when you buy this book, it's pretty much dead at the end of this semester. Because the book next year will say 2018. I got a disturbing message this morning from IRS in Charleston, and I hope it doesn't come true. He wrote a note for us to be alert that some of the changes that Trump made in that tax law could be retroactive. In other words, there might have been some kind of deduction that was given or not given in 2017, which will be retroactive with the new law. He said we may have people come back to do amended return. They heard about it. So I don't know, he didn't give any specifics, what reduction or what credit or anything that might be changed. But software doesn't have it in it, we can't do nothing about it. And that's all software, whether it's tax layer, TurboTax, tax code, whatever it may be. Okay, we'll worry about that when the time comes. Now, depreciation. What I want you to do real quick is review the old methods of depreciation and All right, the old methods of depreciation was straight line. Well, now this thing don't want to write today. Straight line, unit, I don't know what's wrong with this. It's not writing. Okay, I'd like to use OneNote today. I don't know why it's not working. It's even worse. Okay, I'm going to try to use Word. Something's wrong with my pen or something. Straight line. All right. Units of production. It's got to be my pen. And we had declining balance. And we had, this is not going anywhere today. We had declining balance and we had sum of the year digit. All right. Now, in reviewing those, let me give you some numbers. Let me give you cost of something. This may straighten out, I hope. Cost is equal to 100, doing better, $1,000. Scrap value or residual value is 10,000. All right, the life is 5 years. Or 100,000 units. Now, I'd like for you to give me the first 2 years depreciation. Straight line.
18,000. 18,000.
All right, let's go ahead and write it down, Giorgio. Year 1 and 2 for straight line.
18,000.
Decline in balance. Units of production. And sum of your digit. All right, you should have 8 answers. Do you already have it finished, Tandem? Do you have it finished?
5 years.
Yeah, that's 5 years. I'm sorry, this pen's not writing. I need 8 answers. Cost is 100,000. Salvage value is 10. The life in years is 5. The life in units is 100. Do me first 2 years depreciation. 1 is straight line, decline in balance, then units, then sum of the year digit. Double declining balance.
I got 36%.
We'll see. In units, and then sum to your digit. All right, let's look at a couple of them. Straight line is cost minus scrap value, residual trade-in value, whatever you call it, is 90,000 divided by 5 years or multiplied by 20%. And Giorgio keeps hollering 18, and since it's not part year depreciation, it is 18 both years.
How did we get 20%?
What?
How did we get 20%?
5 years is 20% a year. 5/20 makes 100. Or 5 years is 150 a year, divide 5 into 1, and you get decimal 20.
5 years.
Divided into 1/5. 5 years is 150 a year, 1/5 is equal to decimal 20 or 20%.
I think we did 100,000 minus the 10,000 scrap value. Divided by
Yeah, divided by 5, that does it. All right, but that was straight line. Now let's look at, now that method is still used in some things with the IRS, but it's not used often, like your accounting book uses it. Now, some of your corporation keeps their books with straight line depreciation, but they'll do their tax return by using MACRS, which we're going to look at. Now, declining balance. I hate that my pen's not doing any better. I have no idea what is wrong with it. All right, declining balance, 5 years, Giorgio was already asking that, is 1/5 a year. And 1/5 a year is equal to decimal 20 or 20%. Now, it's usually called double declining balance. So your percent would be how much?
40.
All right, your percent would be 40%. Okay? 40% of what?
100,000.
See, now Word don't flip like my other. All right, 100,000 starts off like it's going to be fine. Times 40% is how much the first year?
40,000.
Then you find your book value, which is 60,000 the second year, and 40% of that is what? 40% of 60,000 is what? 24,000?
Yeah.
And then if you wanted a third year, subtract 24 from 60, that leaves 36 times 40%. Now, IRS tables, MACRS, are based on double declining balance. That's the only way it's used. It's based on double declining balance. All right. Now, how about units of production? What did you get for that, Olivia? What'd you get for the units of production method? How much? Has anybody got that one yet? Take a minute and work on units of production. Olivia, I'll let you answer units of production first year. And now, I forgot to give you how many units were used the first year. You have to know that. 10,000 the first year and 12,000 the second year were the units produced. You have to know that.
12,000.
Yeah, that is 12. All right, you had 100,000. Do you take out scrap value? You take out scrap value, don't you? That leaves 90,000 divided by how many units? Now, what did I say the life in units were? 90,000. What did I say the life in units were? The depreciation in Georgia is 90 cents a unit.
When we produce 100,000 or 10,000?
The life is 100,000.
Huh?
Yeah. Have you not reviewed this in intermediate?
Units of production.
Yeah.
We produce 10,000 units.
Yeah.
And we divide it by the number of units we produce.
By the number of units. By the number of units life. Okay, we got 90 cents. So, Olivia, what is your first year depreciation under units of production? Multiply the 90 cents times 10,000. Georgia. Okay, Giorgio, that's what you do.
Yeah, but it would be faster if you just divided by 10,000, 90,000, 10,000.
Wait a minute, we can do it that way. So 10 of what is 90 cents times 12,000? I'm hoping this will start writing. Giorgio said it will be faster.
Oh, no, I'm
All right. Well, I was going to prove you right or wrong. I don't know which. Okay. Now, sum of the year digit. We did not have this in principles. All right. But you did have it in intermediate. How many of you had sum of the year digit in intermediate? Two of you? Did you all not have sum of the year digit in intermediate? Okay. That method's not used at all. Now, the units of production method is still good with the IRS when you do depletion. It's only good when you do depletion. Okay, straight line is used, and some of our real estate tables are based on straight line. Now, most of your tables are based on sign balance. So I'll try to get you to understand them as we move along. Now, sum of the year digit. What is the sum of the years? Remember, we have 100,000 minus 9, minus 10 is 90. What is sum of the years? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 adds up to what? 15 is the sum of the years. All right, for the first year of depreciation, we take 90,000 times what? You take the 5 over 15 in descending order. Right? And for the second year, you take 90,000. Hey, it's starting to write good now. Times 4 over 15. That is your sum of the year digit. This is 1/3 of 90, which is 30,000. This is 4/15 of 90. 15 and 90 goes how many times? 6. 4, 6 is 24,000. It's easy to get sum of the year depreciation. And probably it's decreasing 6,000 every year. All right. Now, Robert, real quick, what is the sum of 100 years down to 1? That's 199, 98, 97, 96. What is the sum? Yeah, you'd have to use the formula because who wants to write down those numbers and add them up? It's something like this, Tracy. N times N plus 1 divided by 2. Now let's take 15 for example. All right. Well, wait a minute, yeah. 15 plus 1 is how much? Well, wait a minute now. Not 15 years, it was 5 years. 5 years times 6, n plus 1 is equal to what? 30 divided by 2. But the formula works, Tracy. Now put 100 in there times 101 divided by 2, and you got the sum of 100 down to 1. All right, do 10 real quick. Put 10 in there.
55.
55, right? All right, now, some of you don't do math the fast way, which is fine. Just do it the sure way. Okay? Now, if I had these numbers and didn't know that formula, I would group them and I would count them pretty fast. 9 and 1 makes 10. 10, 9 and 1 makes 10. 8 and 2 makes 10. 3 and 7 make 10. 4 and 6 make 10. All right. So you have 5 tens and a 5, 55. Now I was up here in 79 and I put these on the board, just like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I looked at it this way. I took the middle number times the highest number and got 15. 3 times 5. Or if you did the formula, it's 5 times 6 is 30 divided by 2 is 15. But what do I do with even numbers? What are the two middle numbers?
You sum them up and divide them by 2.
All right, 6 and 5 is 11 divided by 2 is what? 5.5 divided by the largest number of 10 would give you what? 55. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. Now, good news. You will not have somebody or digit on test. It is not in the book. It should not be used. It was done away with some while ago. Okay, the other methods, it's good to know them, and I'll show you how the new sum of your digit works. All right. MACRS is what we're going to have to live by. MACRS, Modified Accelerated Cost Recovery System. Modified means there used to be an ACRS, acre. ACRS was acres, and we put a M in front of it, we modified. We go by the M, the modified. Okay. Now, these are IRS's rules. Most everything is calculated for you. Okay, on page 4, they mentioned some methods, but I want you to look at page 5, calculation of depreciation. Now here they give you the rates. Property with a class life of 4 years or less. Now somewhere IRS has the class life of any kind of asset you could think of. Now we get a lot of 3-year property. We get a lot of 5-year property, probably with a class life of more than 4 years, but less than 10. We get a lot of 7-year property. Now here they give you pickup trucks and computers, research and development, automobiles and light heavy duty. When you get into 7-year property, it's ag, furniture, office and equipment, horses. Did you know you can depreciate a horse? Those race horses depreciate fast. When they get older, they don't win a race. Those breeding horses, when they get older, they don't breed. There's an age limit on them, okay? So yeah, you depreciate horses. Now, it was a workhorse. You probably could depreciate a workhorse. Because when he gets older, he can't work as well, okay? All right. 10-year property, you can read that, barges and vessels. 15-year property, billboards, service station buildings, and then, of course, property with class life of 25 or more include property such as utilities and sewers. Now, these tables are given to you. Turn a page. 10-6. All right. You bought a light duty truck and it cost $20,000. Use those tables, give me the first year depreciation. Give me the first year depreciation. What? Well, it's in the table there. First year is how much a year? What's the 33 1/3% of 20,000? 6,667, probably. 66? Yeah, 66. You'd round the next one off to 7. All right. The second year, it's 44%. Now we're going to go to 5-year property. Okay. Now, when you do a tax return, it is already built in tax later. I use TurboTax at home. It's already built into TurboTax. All right.
Would you do that, like, back here, it says automobiles are 5 years? Would you use the 5 year?
Yes.
Coverage period?
Yeah. But did it say, Tracy, you're right. Racehorses, category, yeah, it put those small trucks and light duty trucks in 5 year. All right, let's put it in 5 year. What is your depreciation on that $20,000 for 5 years? What's the first year depreciation? Okay, what's the first year depreciation? Can anybody multiply 20% times 20,000? 4,000. Now, I want you to look at this. All right. 5-year property, double declining balance. For 5-year property, Giorgio, we did that a minute ago. What is the rate?
40%.
It's 40%. Now, look at this. Now, usually, even under these methods, you only took half-year depreciation. So what is half-year depreciation? The first year on double declining balance? 20. Okay, now that's your 20% for 5-year property. Now, what percent is left? If you use 20% in year 1, what percent is left for year 2?
80.
All right, and we said our rate was 40%. So what is 40 times 80? Work it out. There's decimal places. 80.
3,600.
4 8 ain't 36.
32.
All right, look at your next rate in the table. What is your next rate in the table? For year 2, what is it, Tracy?
Like, for year 2 is 32.
Third year, second year is how much?
Second year is 32.
32. All right. Now let's do the third year. If I use 20% and 32%, what percent does that leave me? I use 20, I use 32. What does that leave me?
48.
All right, multiply 48 times our double decline balance rate of decimal 40. $48 times decimal 40 gives me what? What? 19.2. What is your next third year rate in your table? All right, only thing I'm proving to you, I know how they built these tables, okay? Based on double decline balance. Well, you don't have to do that. Just look at the table or let the computer program kick in. All right, now 7-year property, of course, they give you that. Of course, 3-year property, you've got depreciation in 4 years. 5-year property, you got depreciation in 6 years. There is no salvage value under MACRS, no scrap value. Okay. Now look at this table at the bottom of page 8, page 6, page 6. 179 expense. For 2017, what number do you see there for that 179 expense? What number is that? All right. If you bought $1 million worth of property in 2017, you can take 510 off as an expense. That leaves you 490 that you use the depreciation tables for. If it were a 5-year property, you take 20%. You get 20% of 490 plus 510. Now this 179, Trump may have done away with it. I don't know. Didn't see it in the laws anywhere, but he may have. Now, that's an incentive for investors. They get to take off a whole lot of depreciation the first year. Now, if you only bought $200 worth of equipment, you can take off the whole 200 because it's less than 510. All right. So read up on page 179. That's page 10.7, 10.8. All right. Now I want you to look at the depreciation tables. That's the next. Go to the end of your book and find depreciation tables for me. Everybody has them. Except Savannah, she's got them at the end of her computer. I can't show these on Elmo. We don't have it anymore. Have you found those, Tracy? A whole lot of book here. All right, go to Appendix C, MACRS tables. Do you have it brought up on your computer, Savannah? You have an extra book back here. Oh, you got it brought up or not?
Okay, let's go.
Okay, well, I need an extra. What are you doing? Yeah. Joe, I just said with Austin or Tracy, I need to see those tables. And this Tracy will not buy. She only gives artificial respiration. You ever give that, Tracy?
Yeah, mail later.
You have a machine?
They don't do it.
Oh, you don't have to kiss them now? All right, I guess that works. Okay. Now, folks, listen to me on these tables. If you don't, you'll get lost in them. Table 1 is the general depreciation, MACRS. That one is the one you'll be going by most of the time. It's the current up-to-date table. Now, table 2, personal property placed in service after 12/31/86. Apple Convention mid-quarter property placed in service in the first quarter. Now, if a certain percent, which we'll read about in the book, of your property is placed in the service in the first quarter, let's say all of it was placed in service the first quarter, then you get a take for 5-year property 35%. So this is called the mid-quarter convention method. I look at table 3. All right, mid-quarter property placed in service in the second quarter. The second quarter in a calendar year would be what? April, May, June. If all of your property is placed in service in that quarter, then you get to take 17.25% in year for 5-year property. Okay, now look at the third quarter, table 4. For 5-year property, you get to take less because you bought it in June, July, August, September. Now, the last table is the last quarter. For 5-year property, you only get to take 5% if you bought it in October, November, December. So those are your mid-quarter tables, 4 of them. Your main table, table 1. Your mid-quarter tables, 4, 5, 3, 2. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. Now, another main table is real estate. Real estate, okay? Now, trucks and vans have a depreciation limit for 2016. I don't think they do in 17. So I wish I had PowerPoint, but last time I tried to look for it, they didn't have PowerPoint for the new text. Table 7 should not be used in table 6 much, but table 7, residential rental real property placed in service after 86, it's 27.5. Acquisition mid-month. Now, let me look at another one first. This is placed in service after 86. I want you to look at the next table, I guess, while we're at it. Table 8. Non-residential real property. What is non-residential rental property? Warehouse, a store building, an office building. And before 93, it was 31.5-year property. And it's based on straight line. Now, table 9, non-residential property placed in service after 93. So you'll be using this one. You'll be using table 9 a lot, and you'll be using table 7 a lot. Now, let's go back to table 7. You bought a rental home. Now, remember, if you ever buy a house and you pay $150,000, you just don't go depreciate $150,000. Why? You bought a house for $150,000, you don't go depreciate $150,000, even though you're renting this house. All right? Why? Why do you not depreciate $150,000? Because it includes land. You gotta know the value of the land. Maybe the land was worth $40,000, so you depreciate $110,000. Okay, so you bought a house, the building cost $110,000, and you bought it in May. Look at this table and tell me the depreciation. You bought it in May, look at this table and tell me the depreciation, table 7. When I say you bought it in May. Give me depreciation for year 1 and year 2. $110,000 times something. What would you have it? All right. What month is May? Go over to 5. What decimal they give you? 2 point. Multiply that by 110. That's your depreciation.
It's a 2.273%.
12, 110,000. Not much. How much? 500?
25.
500. All right, but now next year, What was the depreciation on that 110, stay in column 5?
Still 110,000?
Yeah, stay in column 5, still on 110.
We don't calculate the carry value.
No, you do not calculate book value, carry value, no. So what is your depreciation, Tracy? $4,000 next year. Now what is it for the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, on and on, what is it?
3.6.
Same rate? That's straight line method. Now, I don't know how they got the first year. If it's mid-quarter or mid-something. But it's straight line depreciation. But you gotta go by that table. You gotta go by the month you bought it in. Okay? Now, let's say you bought a warehouse. Look at table, I believe I told you we'll be looking at table 9. You bought a warehouse. Now, it's gonna let us depreciate a warehouse over how many years? How many years is a warehouse depreciating? 40 years. Really 39, but it's part of 40. So they did this so investors, both real estate, so on, could not take a lot of depreciation and be making money without having a loss on their tax return, still be putting money in the pocket, be cash flow. Okay. All right. Now let's say you bought a $500,000 warehouse. Forget about the land. The warehouse costs $500,000. What is the first year depreciation on that warehouse if you bought it in September? You went over to 9, right? And she took decimal 749. Now change decimal 749 to a percent, somebody. Change it. Change it to a decimal. Change decimal 749% to a decimal. What do you get? Move your decimal to the left. Now what do you get? Decimal 0.007. That's what you use to multiply by 500,000. How much does that give you?
3,740.
3,700. That's all you get on a $300,000 bill. I mean, on a $500,000 bill. Now, you'll find out later when you take some of that 179 off of that bill or not.
But then it increases.
It goes up. How much does it go up to next year?
0.564.
It goes up to over 3%, don't it? So now we're up to decimal 0.03. So it goes up quite a bit. Okay, now that's your main tables that you'll do problems with in this chapter. And we must do problems in this chapter. You get around to them, read this chapter, do all the odd problems. All right, now let's glance at the rest of the tables. Turn a page to C10. There's alternative depreciation. I don't see why you'd want to use it. There's alternative depreciation tables. Don't see why you'd want to use them. All right. 5 years, it's 10%. 2020, 2020. Don't know why you'd want to use that. It's more based on straight line, really. It's 10% the first year, 10% the last year, and 20% in the middle. It's straight line mid-year is what it. All right. Even if you look at 3 years, it's straight line mid-year. So you can use straight line, and they've made alternative tables from them. but I don't recommend it. Stick with their tables. Trying to find luxury vehicles. I don't see other tables that we need to be concerned with. We've looked at the main tables. There's not many more there except for luxury vehicles. This luxury vehicle tax, we may have one, but basically what it is, if you're a coal operator and you get up to your coal mine in a $20,000 Jeep Cherokee, and you get up to your coal mine in a four-wheel drive, $20,000 Jeep Cherokee. Well, these coal operators, they were buying luxury Cadillacs, SUVs, luxury BMW SUVs, maybe even a Porsche SUV. It costs over $100,000 to drive up to that coal mine. So IRS is trying to put a thing with things like this. Why some of these tables can even on personal lease vehicles, things like that. Okay, so now that's depreciation in a nutshell, just by looking at the table. Now we'll practice. Okay, you've got a form in this chapter. Can you please find the form in this chapter? I've got it on page 26. Have you got it on page 26? All right, those people listen, at least see some color. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring a couple books to set this on. If I don't have a PowerPoint, say it up here and they can at least see you all. Okay, when we're talking, we'll do something. All right, now, this chapter has a lot more in it, but this is the form 4562. I filled out one of these yesterday. Now, I worked 3 hours on my taxes and had it pretty well finished. Because I've got rental costs and I had a bunch of 1099s and capital gains, dividends and different things. So I had it about finished. And some of my capital gains I had to figure out myself, even by form that the broker said. But anyhow, I always click the little X on TurboTax, and it says, where you want to save this file. I'll probably save it on the computer and on the jump drive, so I have 2 copies of it. Well, when I click that X, it didn't necessarily save it, it just deleted it. So I got 3 more hours of work. So be careful if you're using some other kind of program besides TaxSlayer. I think TaxSlayer, you didn't finish and you close out there, you bring it right back up anytime. On TurboTax, I lost it. So I went in and see if it saved on the C drive, on the jump drive, or in the program, or it didn't save it anywhere. Okay. Look at this form, please. Part 1, we bought a truck for $40,000. We bought machinery and equipment for $535. And what are they elected to do on line 6? What are they electing to do? They're elected to expense $500,000 of that purchase of $575. So how much appreciate? What's 500,000 from 575? 75, isn't it? Now look down. 40,000 of that was 5-year property, and 35,000 of that was 7-year property. Recovery period 5 years, 7 years. Convention. What does HY mean? What does HY mean? Come on. HY means half year convention. Now, what if it had MQ? What would that mean? What if it had MQ3, mid-quarter third? MQ1, mid-quarter. Now, and what is the method? MACRS. MACRS. That's about all it will ever be, MACRS. Okay, so how much is this person going to take off for depreciation? They're going to take off 8 and 5. Now, look at line 17. Where's that 66,000 come from? Read that line. Where's that 66 come from? In prior years. So you got to keep good records of your depreciation. Okay? I have had a rough time with that sometimes. You know, co-truckers and then buy and sell and trade. I don't care if you got it computerized or what, for costs. At the time I didn't have computerized and I had costs. I'd have to pull out for the last 5 years, see depreciation I took year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it was depreciated out or normal. Okay, so I could get my current year's depreciation. So keep good records of what you take off depreciation for IRS purposes. Now, the computer may keep up with it. Now, if it's real estate, you know it's the same rate every year, except for the first and last. All right? But for these tables, it's not the same rate every year. Okay? All right, so basically the front of this page is the important page. And this person gets to take $529,000 depreciation expense on his tax return. Second page, listed property, part 5, depreciation and other information. Now look at this listed property. This includes automobiles, vehicles, aircraft, computers, and property used in entertainment, recreation, or amusement. So you got different depreciation lines there on line 25, 26, and 27. All right, then you have amortization. Okay. Olivia, what do you use amortization for? Remember? We've got to review real quickly, amortization and depletion. What do you use amortization for?
It's not a natural resource.
All right, Robert, answer your for Let's say you said that you all pierced. Okay. Natural resource. Well, wait a minute. Robert's wrong. Intangible assets such as patents, copyright, goodwill, or Robert. That was not this thing. Okay. Okay. Depletion is on natural resources. Amortization is on intangible. Okay, so let's review those real quick in the text. I want you to read this chapter. We need to look at it real good come another day, Thursday that is. We got to look at year of disposing of. What do we do? You got to bring depreciation up to date. I'll tell you what little bit they know about straight line and restrictions. All right, so look at page 17. Goodwill, research, and experimental computer software. How about that? Computer software is an intangible. Startup expenses, organizational expenses, pollution control facilities, but don't forget patents and copyrights, okay? That's amortization. We just go by the amortization laws like you learned in intermediate accounting, or if you learned any in principles. The laws are still the same for amortization. All right, so look at page 18. Goodwill. And look at other intangibles. Now look at bullet 2. Now goodwill is 15 years. Bullet 2 is 15 years. License, permits, or other rights granted by government, unit, or space. Capitalized cost of acquiring a radio broadcasting license. It didn't say what. Covenant not to compete, 15 years. Franchises, trademarks. Sometimes it's just the life of those items. So amortization. You know the journal entries for it. Now, we'll need to go over that. Now, let's look at the highlights of depletion. Depletion methods. All right, depletion has 2 methods in taxes. You had 1 in accounting. In principles, you had 1, and in intermediate, you had 1 method. But here we have 2 mentioned on page 22. We have the cost depletion methods and the percentage depletion method. The percentage completion method, page 23, is given to you. So tangent. What is the depletion percentage for code? What is the percentage depletion for code? All right, these tables are on page 23. These tables are on page 23. And Giorgio is answering that. What is it, Giorgio?
10%.
Coal and asbestos is 10%. 10% of what? You had to pay for those coal rights. You may have paid $1 million. So your depletion would be 10% of $1 million, which would be $100,000. Okay? But we also have the other method of depletion. Now, the highest one over here is sulfur and uranium, 22%. Oil and gas, which there may be some gas, there definitely is gas in West Virginia, 15%. Gravel, you just get 5% a year for gravel, and we got a lot of rock quarries that mine and sell gravel for the roads and so on. All right, but you got cost depletion. It's a method similar for the units of production method. So if you can do the units production method, you can do cost depletion. So what little I've showed you in this book, the MACRS tables are based on double divided method. The alternative depreciation methods are based on straight line. Units of production method is used for cost depletion. So you're using some of your old methods, whether you know it or not, indirect way. All right. Thursday, we need to look at a lot of these ins and outs. Now, today, what I want you to do, now, some of you have your laptops, and I want you to go in, get you on your cell phone. Have you ever been into this program on your cell phone, Olivia? Have you ever been in the tax layer on your cell phone? You can, though, right? So I want you to go in, any of you that have a return, and you have it marked, your cell phone still. Go into your cell phone or your laptop, bring up tax layer. And remember, it's the right one. Password will work. Using that. Okay. I want you to bring up the return to bid. Go in. It's got marked for review. If you've had it reviewed, take that mark out, and we'll let the E5. It hasn't had it reviewed, we need to review it. But now you, what's it up there? Oh, okay, you're doing good. Now, Michael and Matthew haven't got them out yet, but they were able to refile. Lady does it first, five tests, I had to file a return. I promised her she was the impact of refund. She's the one I asked if she had a sugar daddy, I was gonna make so much a year. I still got jobs, see if anybody's got jobs. All still done yet, okay? Somebody done your own yet? No, come on. All still done.
You know what the Josh's last name is?
Oh,
You said there's a Josh, you know what they have?
the same one man.
I don't.
I have a telephone number, 304-952-618. 304-952-618. You got it? You got it?
No.
I'll find out who's got it. Now, when I get notes like this, hey, I've got 10 or 12 people doing return. We'll do about 400. They call, they got a complaint, if it won't equal, I give it back to you to fix it. Okay, take care. Okay, so. Okay, I'm gonna shut down recording, today.